Yesterday, I told you about three Canon primes, the RF 35mm f1.4, the 24mm f1.4, and the 50mm f1.4. And shortly after publishing my video on those primes yesterday, my source updated me with more information, pricing, some corrections, and additional details. So just to recap here, all three of these lenses, the 24, 35, and 50mm, at the fastest they're an f1.4, and each one is an L series lens, so that gives you an idea in terms of pricing. But one of the things that was corrected is image stabilization. While we were told one of these lenses won't have image stabilization, my source has corrected that and said, well, actually none of them are going to have image stabilization. I know this might be a surprise to some of you, but let's take a look at some EF lenses. In particular, the 35mm f1.4. It's also L series, it's version 2, and it's got a USM motor, and it sells for $19.99. And in terms of image stabilization, nope, it doesn't have image stabilization either. And the 24mm f1.4, it's also L series, but it also doesn't have image stabilization. Are you a little bit disappointed that neither of these lenses have image stabilization in them? I know this might be a bit of an issue. Maybe the 50mm f1.4, maybe the 35mm f1.4. But one thing I've learned is that when you're shooting photography, if you've got a camera with in-body image stabilization, like the Canon EOS R5, well, when you're shooting stills, it's not really that big of an issue. Now, when it comes to video, though, it can be a bit of a problem. It's nice to have that IBIS. It really helps you when you're hand-holding a camera. But if you really need rock-solid, smooth, cinematic type hero shots, then the best thing to do is to actually get a gimbal. You're not really going to get, unless you're shooting with a camera such as the GH6, the GH5, that has really impressive image stabilization to that very small and lightweight sensor. Unfortunately, none of these lenses, the 24, the 35, or the 50mm f1.4, have image stabilization. All right, now let's cover off the dates. So we've got the date ranges within a 2-month range for each lens. Let's start off with the 24mm. The date range expected for the announcement of this lens is June and July. And for the other two lenses, the 35mm and the 50mm f1.4, well, the announcement is expected November and December. That's very interesting. Now, December is a strange month because we very rarely get any sort of announcement by Canon. Now, the shipping dates make sense, and that's why I wonder if something might have gotten missed in translation here. Those dates make an awful lot of sense in terms of shipping dates, but for announcement dates, that would surprise me. I'd really expect to get the announcement of at least some of these lenses with the Canon EOS R5 announcement, which according to Canon rumors is supposed to be happening sometime late May, around the 21st to the 23rd, the third week of May. And to not announce the R5 with any lenses would be a bit of a surprise, and previous rumors have said that the 35mm f1.4 would be announced alongside the Canon EOS R5. So even though my sources told me that these lenses are due to be announced in, well, June and July for the 24mm and November and December for the not the 24, the 35 and the 50mm f1.4, I wouldn't be, I'm kind of getting a feeling that I'm wondering if there's something lost in translation here, and maybe those are shipping dates, but that's what I've been given. I'm just giving you what I've been given. I could sit on this several more days, try to get the information for you, but one of the things I want to make sure is, because I just published the video yesterday, I want to give you up to date with the latest information. I'm going to talk to my source one more time. There's a bit of a delay between all the communications, but if the dates are earlier, I can certainly let you know that. But my impression the first time around was that these lenses would be announced right on the announcement of the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, but what I got in this latest communication clearly shows that those dates are a little bit further off. I hope those are shipping dates and not announcement dates. All right, now let's take a look at the price. I kind of hinted at the price a little bit already when I showed you the price of the 35mm f1.4. The 35mm f1.4 EF lens is still today selling for $19.99, and the 24mm $15.49, $15.29, but that's not the important part here. Can you guess how much all three of these lenses are going to list for? Each lens is going to have the exact same price. They're L series lenses. Any guesses? Any at all? Mark? Peter? Kathy? Tim? The village mayor? Anybody? I know I'm dragging this on. I'm keeping you on the edge of your seat. I know for some of you, you're going to go, it's not bad. It's kind of what you expect from these primes. They're an f1.4. It's L series. And some of you are just going to be like, oh, well, there goes that lens purchase. All right, here we go. The price for all three lenses, and I'm going to give this to you in euros because that's what I was provided. The price in euros, just above 2,000 euros. So there you go. We have the price. We have three lenses. They're coming this year. I get a good sense from this source. I don't get any red flags. Yes, there's been some corrections to some of the information provided, but I've seen this many times in the past, and I've seen Canon Rumors do the same. They get information, then they go ahead and publish it, and then they find out a day later or 2 days later they were given corrected information. There was something either lost in translation or something was misheard, and this is pretty common. Remember, if you've ever played Broken Telephone as a child, then you can understand how things can change from one source to another. So I don't know where my source is necessarily getting the information from, and I'm not asking. The last thing I want to do is ask, how should we put this? Well, too many questions, because if I ask too many questions, I put that person in the spot, which might scare them away. At this point, I haven't really been told anything that kind of seems like this person is making stuff up, isn't connected in the know somehow. So as far as I'm going at this point, you know, things are looking pretty good with the information. We are getting pretty close to an announcement. We're less than a month away now, depending on which day you believe in. The R5 Mark II, that's the biggest announcement of all. The 35mm f1.4, that's a lens I'm very much interested in. And if it is going to ship sometime around November, I'm probably definitely going to get it, because I will have covered over, I would gotten past the shock of the R5 Mark II. But yeah, those November, December dates, they just, something might, there's a bit of a red flag with those dates. They just seem a little bit off. Now because it's now Tuesday, I've had a chance to take a look at the latest deals of the week. And one thing I can tell you, well, surprisingly, the deals that we have this week aren't any different from the deals we had last week, and I've got all the links in the description down below. If you do use any of these links, these guys right here, I do get anywhere from 2 to 12% commission back, which goes right back into supporting this channel. And a big thanks to all of you that have used them in the past. But let me give you a quick overview of some of the deals, because every manufacturer has some amazing deals on right now, including Sony. Are you ready? Okay, well, let's go to the biggest deal of the week, and that's actually a Canon camera. It's currently selling for $35.99. The Canon EOS R5 Mark I, $31.99 at Adorama and B&H, but Adorama is still tossing in that 128GB CF Express card, Type B, as well as a card reader. Nikon's got the Z8 at $300 off, and both the Z6 Mark II and the Z7 Mark II are $400 off. While Sony's managed to lower the price on the a7S III, the a7 IV, the a7 R5, the FX3, and the FX30. And that's going to be the biggest surprise of all, to see so many deals on Sony gear, on Sony cameras, when for the last 3 years, we really haven't seen anything. So lots of deals, and those are just kind of a tip of the iceberg. If you have any of these cameras, you also want to take a look and see what lenses are on sale, because even if a new camera body is coming out, such as the R5 Mark II, an S1H Mark II, a new Sony FX camera like the FX3 Mark II, well, you're still going to be able to carry those lenses over. So there are a lot of really good deals on lenses. Not as good as what we saw a couple of months ago, but definitely some big deals. Thank you so much for watching right to the end. If you want to stay up to date on the latest and greatest, then definitely go ahead and subscribe and choose all notifications. Although the algorithm of YouTube is pretty good, that if you watch one of my videos, they'll still keep recommending videos probably for the next several weeks. And also, you might want to consider following me on Twitter. But also, even if you just like my content and I'm your sole source, I highly recommend following up on Canon Rumors as well, because when it comes to all things Canon, if I'm not leaking information, you know Canon Rumors is, and they've been doing a great job for the last, 8 to 12 years. And I wake up early every morning expecting to see Canon Rumors just post the whole detailed specifications of the R5 Mark II or the Canon EOS R1. I wouldn't be surprised to see them drop something very, very soon. So either one of us is going to have you covered. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you again soon.